Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, doctors, and most importantly, our medical students. I'd just like to let you know that this evening will be professionally photographed and photographed as
well. So please remain in your seats throughout the whole ceremony. And if you are going to take photos, please take them while sitting down. Thank you so much. Okay, just to introduce myself, my name is Alexis Tripodis, and I'm honored to stand here today as president of the Medical School Student Society. It is a privilege to welcome you all to this very special occasion as we celebrate our medical students who will be receiving their white coats, a meaningful milestone that marks the beginning of their clinical years and the next chapter of their journey towards becoming doctors. Please join me in warmly welcoming and celebrating our medical students. Before I continue today, I would just like to take a moment to say a huge thank you to the Student Services team, our faculty, and the White Coat Ceremony Committee for all your time, your effort, and care you've put into organizing this ceremony. Your hard work behind the scenes has made today possible, and we are truly so grateful. So, for many of us, this moment felt very far away, something we only imagined during long days of lectures, our difficult exam periods, and moments where the road ahead felt overwhelming. And yet, today, we stand here surrounded by our classmates, our families, our mentors, and friends, ready to begin our next chapter of our medical education. The white coat is more than just a symbol of progression into the clinical years. It represents trust, compassion, responsibility, and the privilege of caring for people during some of the most vulnerable times of their lives. It is a reminder that medicine is not only about knowledge, science, or clinical skill, it's also about humility, empathy, professionalism, and the ability to see a person behind every patient. Today represents growth. Medical school has a way of challenging us in ways we never would have expected. It tests our discipline, our resilience, and our confidence, as well as our character, and teaches us that success is not only found in the moments where everything's going well, but also in the moments where we struggle. We adapt and continue moving forward. Every one of us receiving our white coats today has already shown perseverance. We have faced difficult exams, very long nights, moments of doubt, and the pressure that comes with choosing a profession built on service to others. Yet, we continue to show up for ourselves, for our future patients, and for one another. That is something so worth celebrating. Today is also a reminder that none of us reached this point alone. To our parents and families with us today, thank you. Your support has been part of this journey from the very beginning. You've encouraged us through our stressful days, celebrated our achievements, reassured us during our very difficult moments, and believed in us even when we struggled to believe in ourselves. Your patience, your sacrifices, and unconditional support have a huge part of why we are standing here today. This achievement belongs to you as well. To our faculty and staff, thank you. Thank you for guiding us, not only academically, but personally. Your teaching, mentorship, dedication, and kindness have helped shape the doctors of the future. You have reminded us that medicine is not only about what we know, but how we use that knowledge to help others. And to my fellow students, today marks the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter with learning, responsibility, human connection, and growth. A professor of mine back in South Africa once told me that life is never a straight line. There will be obstacles, uncertainty, and failures, setbacks and big challenges that will test not only our knowledge, but also our character. What defines us is not whether this journey is difficult. What defines us is how we respond to these moments, with resilience, compassion, humility, and purpose. And as we wear our white coats today, may we wear them proudly, with kindness and with respect for the responsibility they represent. Because while medicine is built on science and knowledge, the people who make the greatest impact are often remembered not for what they knew, but how they made others feel. Congratulations to each and every single one of you. Thank you for all being here to celebrate this beautiful milestone together. I would now like to pass on to our Vice President, Ahmed Nasser, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alexis, and good evening, everyone. As Alexis said, today is more than just receiving a white coat. It's a moment that reflects everything we've been through together to reach here. When I look around, I don't see classmates. I see my people. I see my family away from home. I see faces that stood beside me on the hardest days, who gave me strength when I needed it most, and who turned this journey into memories we will carry with us forever. This journey has been far more than just lectures and exams. It's the sleepless nights, the stress before the results, the 8 a.m.s at the hospital with the doctors, and the moments where we questioned ourselves, wondering if we were strong enough for this path. Yet somehow, every single time, we kept going, but not because it was easy, because we had each other. We found strength in each other. And this is what made this journey special for me. I never truly felt alone. There was always someone there, whether it's a friend checking in, or a colleague offering help, or even just a little conversation that made the heavy days feel a little lighter. In a place that could have felt very overwhelming, you all made it feel like home. So thank you. And to our teachers and faculty members, thank you for your patience, thank you for your guidance, as well as for holding us to a standard we didn't know that we can even meet or get close to. So you didn't just teach us medicine, you helped us shape the way we think, and the way we care, and the way we will show this and carry ourselves into the profession. So thank you. And to our families, whether you are here with us today, supporting us from here, or from far away, thank you. Thank you for being our constant support, for believing in us when we doubted ourselves, as well as for making sacrifices to make us able to stand here today. This moment belongs to you just as much as it belongs to all of us. This white coat is more than a symbol of knowledge or responsibility. It carries every lesson and every sacrifice and every person who helped us reach this point. So today, I do not wear this white coat alone. I wear it with all of you, my people, because this journey was never mine alone. We walked it together, and that's what makes tonight special. I am proud to stand here with all of you today, not just as future doctors, but as a family that grew stronger side by side. This moment is magical. Just hold it in, take it, and let it stay with you for life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. That was really beautiful. I would like to call on Professor Adonis Ioannidis, Dean of the Medical School and Professor of Clinical Genetics, to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Alexis, Ahmad, for this very kind invitation to address this wonderful event. And first and foremost, let me congratulate you for the organization of this. I mean, it's no mean feat, and certainly with the support of our student affairs team. So this is a wonderful occasion. My understanding, this has been a North American tradition, but from the very beginning, from the outset, its medical school adopted this tradition of the white coat ceremony. And this is an important one, an important transition, an important milestone. And can I just say how wonderful it is, first of all, to welcome all the students here, all our colleagues, and of course, all your friends and family who have stood by you all this time during those intense years of the first years at the medical school. And they have supported you all along, and they're rightly very proud of what you have achieved. So first and foremost, let me say something about what this milestone means. It's a time for you to consider what you have achieved to date, and you have achieved a lot to date. You have been through some very intense academic scrutiny. You have worked long hours. You have negotiated examinations. And now you come to this milestone, an important one, which is before, of course, the next very important milestone of graduation. But what about this milestone of the white coat ceremony? What does it signify? It signifies a transition from your mostly theoretical learning to your clinical, practical time on the wards, meeting patients, and actually realizing that what you've been learning all this time has applications and is actually useful because it can be applied to what you can do when you meet patients on the wards during your clinical years. And traditionally, I would like to give some advice to you as you make this important transition. What I would say to you is that you wear this white coat with pride and you put your best foot forward. Wear it with pride, with humility and a sense of responsibility, because now you'll be interacting with patients day in, day out. And this is, of course, what you'll be doing during your professional lives. What of course, you should bear in mind, you have received excellent training. And of course, in the presence of your teachers today, you need to feel confident in what you've achieved, confident in the training you've received, and confident that you will conduct yourselves in the best possible way, wherever you find yourselves in the clinical environment. So once again, I'd say congratulations. Put your best foot forward. Move into your clinical years with confidence, humility, and what I wish for today is that enjoy the ceremony, and I wish you the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. I would now like to call on Professor Louise Louisou, Clinical Professor of Gastroenterology and GEMD Program Co-Director, as well as Dr. Chloe Antoniou, Associate Dean for Students, Associate Professor of Biochemistry, and GEMD Program Director, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to the friends and families of our students. Dear students, it is interesting, I think, that the white coat ceremony celebrates a uniform that doctors no longer wear routinely. As you know, in many hospitals, white coats have been banned because of infection control reasons, and they've been replaced by short-sleeved scrubs. Yet the concept of the white coat remains powerful because the white coat is a symbol. Although the white coat may come and go with time, the values that it represents, such as dedication and hard work, responsibility, professionalism, compassion, humility, and service, will remain unchanged. So if you do not get to wear a white coat physically in your future career, make sure you wear one notionally every day throughout your careers. As was mentioned earlier, medicine is not just a profession, but it is a journey. And like any meaningful journey, there are going to be moments of uncertainty along the way. At moments like these in my own career, I was reminded of a famous song called "You'll Never Walk Alone" by a band from the 1960s, that shows my age, called Jerry and the Pacemakers. The song has become world famous, not only because of the band that recorded it, but because it was embraced by the supporters of Liverpool Football Club, who sing it together before every home match. Thousands of voices rise together with a simple but very powerful message that no matter how difficult the challenge ahead is, you face it together. Medicine works much the same way as football. It is a team effort. The song begins with the words, "When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high." In medicine, storms will come. There will be long nights studying, difficult decisions, days when the emotional weight of caring for patients feels too heavy, and other times when your confidence wavers, when you really ask yourself, am I cut out to be a doctor? But the message of the song and the message of today is simple. You will never walk alone. During your demanding training and medical career, you will walk this path with your classmates and colleagues who will become your friends and your support system. You will walk it with your teachers and mentors who will guide you through the science but also the art of medicine. And most importantly, you will walk it with your patients. They will trust you with their fears and hopes and teach you lessons that you cannot find in any textbook. Your journey in clinical medicine begins today. I'll briefly share a few insights from my own journey that I hope will serve you well in the future. Listen to other members of your team. Respect their opinions and expertise. Medicine works best when people work together. Be curious, ask questions, admit when you do not know something because that is how you learn best. Be patient, turn up on time, prepare well, because small habits build professional trust. And last but not least, always be kind and empathetic. Patients will not remember you for the treatment you prescribed, but they will certainly remember you because of the way you spoke to them or how you made them feel. I leave you with the hope that throughout your careers in medicine, you will remember the simple messages from that famous song. Whatever the challenge, walk on with hope in your heart because you will never walk alone. Best of luck and every success in your future careers.
Dear students, dear families and friends, welcome. It is a great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all on this very special occasion. Today we celebrate an important milestone in your medical education and even more importantly in your growth as future physicians. As I always say, in many ways, life resembles a metabolic pathway. Some parts proceed smoothly, while others demand crossing large energetic barriers. Along the way, there are inhibitors that slow us down, but there are also activators and essential cofactors that help us move forward. Tonight, you're overcoming one of the rate-limiting steps of your educational journey. This evening, you should celebrate your achievements, but also take a moment to reflect before moving forward. Learn from your successes, but also from your mistakes. One thing that I've learned from my mistakes is that it is essential to stop and smell the flowers, and I hope that's what we're doing today. Ceremonies like this one today are especially meaningful to me. Being part of a student's journey to achieving their goal is one of the greatest privileges of academic life. Celebrating your achievement is also a reminder to all of us why teaching and mentoring matters so much. I wish each and every one of you every success as you enter your clinical years. Wherever your placements may take you, please remember that we're always back here to support you. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another. I look forward to seeing you all back in 2 years for your graduation.
Thank you so much for those beautiful words and that biochemistry revision session as well.
I would like to now invite Dr. Danny Alon Ellenbogen, Clinical Associate, Professor of Internal Medicine and Infectious Diseases, and Associate Director of the MD program, who's been a wonderful guiding hand for all our MD students.
Thank you. Well, thank you both for having me and for pronouncing my name correctly. The latter doesn't happen very often, so it is greatly appreciated. As an infectious diseases consultant, I initially thought it would be enough for me to simply remind you to perform hand hygiene correctly before and after touching a patient and their surroundings. But I was told that would be rather short. When looking at the cheerful atmosphere here today, I cannot help but recall the day before I, as a student, entered my first clinical rotation. It was in a different world. Very many years ago, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, there was no internet and there were no mobile phones, something you can hardly imagine. There you go. An elderly internal medicine professor approached us and asked very frighteningly, "Are you all ready? Tomorrow, death begins." Looking back at this in retrospect, I can safely say that this was not student-centered. However, that chap could not have been more wrong, as for many of us, it was actually the beginning of a new life. I'm sure that many of you right now cannot bear the thought of sitting in a lecture hall, a classroom, or a PBL cubicle ever again. Although the seats in our lecture halls are very comfortable, I can assure you. Some of you probably cannot face listening to yet another recorded lecture, even on double speed. However, from now on, you will be taught mainly by clinicians. And clinicians, and this might come as a surprise for some of you, are mostly human. They reciprocate, they echo. In other words, the level of teaching you will be getting depends largely, primarily, to a great extent, on you. The more curious you are, the more you will be taught. So interact, engage, be demanding in times, be as energetic as Staphylococcus aureus, as enthusiastic as a pneumococcus, and as determined and persistent as a Pseudomonas infection. Make sure, however, to take good care of your own microbiome. In other words, be kind to yourselves and to one another. Be gracious and respectful, always. And smile. Smiles are like oxygen, and we live in a hypoxemic world. And as said before, be on time. For those of you going to the German-speaking sphere, be ahead of time, as on time is late. I can see Professor Kanakis agrees with me. And do not forget, the mothership stays here in Nicosia, and we're there for you if you need us. So I wish to congratulate you all and your families once again, and I trust you will make the most of the wonderful years you have ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Danny. That gave me some PTSD to sketchy micro. I would now like to invite Dr. Evis Baghdadis, Clinical Associate Professor of Respiratory Medicine and MD Year 4 Lead, to say a few words.
A few words? I thought I was the keynote speaker, but anyway, I'll try and make it short. Welcome, everyone, distinguished faculty and proud families and our students. Thank you for inviting me to speak again. This is the 8th time, so I tried to keep this original, because I know you keep all the videos and you can look through them again. Dr. Loizu said what I said last year. I mean, I didn't have Liverpool in it because I would never do that. It's, not my style. But anyway, it was a great occasion again, and thank you very much again for inviting me. And I'm always proud that this small country produces such a large number of doctors, well-trained doctors, and they come from an amazing number of countries and cultures. To get medical training accredited and your degrees to have worldwide acceptance is no mean task. The number of people and the man-hours needed to achieve this is incredible. And as Luis said, we don't walk alone. You're a family and we're a family as well. And I think this family reflects on how we treat you and how hopefully you will treat the next generations of students. Medicine does need standardization in its teaching and practice, and this has not always been the case. Even UK boards that are famous, like the General Medical Council, were not established until the mid-19th century. Earlier attempts to standardize training and licensing were squashed. And even the Archbishop of Canterbury could give you a degree because you were a nice guy. You had to be a guy, believe me. And they were called Lambeth degrees. It took 200 years to get rid of these degrees and to have proper examinations and training. The international standards we have today have been hard-earned, and we need to continue to improve them so that that white coat you're getting today will have the same validity anywhere you go. I will give you a few more words, maybe not of wisdom, but they're all in good faith. There is an unspoken rule that says that whatever we teach you in medical school, about 50% will turn out to be either obsolete or wrong while you get on with your life and practice. So remember to always look out for new knowledge, new evidence, and be ready to challenge the way of the path most traveled. In 1650, Archbishop James Asher of Ireland published a famous paper. He claimed that the universe was created on October 23rd, 4004 BC. He actually said it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We may say he was just a religious fanatic. Well, it wasn't like that. He actually graduated from Trinity College before he was 18. He could speak 4 languages at that age, even Arabic, which was nowhere near Ireland. And he was actually a great scholar. He looked through all the sources from the Bible. He looked through Genesis. He looked at all the generations mentioned in the Genesis and then cross-referenced them with all the Greek, Roman, and Persian history that he got hold of. And he ended up with 4004 BC, October 23rd. And just because this was published, it became stamped on every Bible for the next 200 years next to the book of Genesis. And you shouldn't really claim that you had any other ideas. That was blasphemy, and it could lead to the gallows. And if you were studying at Oxford or Cambridge, which were the only universities that would give you a medical degree at the time, you would find that religion was far more important than the science, even there. So if you said anything wrong, they would exorcise you if you were lucky, and you would be finished. But who else looked at this? Isaac Newton, yes, I mean the great Sir Isaac Newton. He said that the Archbishop was wrong. Well, what did he do? He looked at all the historical references and said that, well, you know, the Greeks and the Romans are always full of themselves, so they claim that their civilization is much longer than it actually ever was. So he corrected the Archbishop and said that the universe was created 4000 BC and not 4004 BC. Well, you know that geology changed all that history. And medicine is full of such sad stories as well. You're standing on an island that has great respect for Greek heritage, and Hippocrates is the father of medicine, not just in Cyprus and Greece, but all over the world. You're going to take an oath that, well, he didn't really write that oath. It's well sort of adapted to modern age, but it's still a great honor that it has his name on it. He said that disease, at last somebody said that disease is not punishment from the gods. You know, he started taking histories, looking at symptoms, signs, and he led us on our way. He also, though, gave us the word hysteria. Now, hysteria has the same etymology as hysterectomy, okay? The hysteron is the womb. So he thought that if the womb was unused, it would travel in the woman's insides and it would lead up to your chest and it would bump on your heart and your lungs and cause you great fear and breathlessness. It was centuries before that concept was wiped out. But let's go quite near to us. In the 1960s, hopefully nobody here was in a medical school in the 1960s, but if you were in a medical school, they would teach you that autism and schizophrenia was not a disease, but it was caused by the mother's frigid nature. Mothers were called refrigerator mothers. And, you know, this was a great problem for decades until we got rid of these insane ideas. You may also recall learning CPR. Well, I hope you do in this medical school. And if you lived in London from the 17th to the 19th century, you would find first aid kits all along the River Thames, where people would be able to help you if you were drowning. But what would they do? Well, they would actually give you a tobacco smoke enema. They thought that the tobacco, through a rectal tube, would make you breathe easier and get back to life. It was, unfortunately, the 1950s before proper CPR was established as an alternative. So, learn to challenge what we teach you today, not by not following what is accepted, but learn to look at data critically, okay? I mean, data these days can be deep fake. You can get all sorts of people posting things that are unreal. And also data interpretation has to be paramount in your studies. Let me give you an example. People say that the current war in the Gulf is detrimental. But on the plus side, my wife's car could only hold 60 euros of petrol, and it can now proudly hold 100 euros without any problem. So thank you, Mr. President. So as you all work very hard to achieve the goals that you've set, remember that you also only get one shot at youth. So be happy. Leave some space for yourselves and your loved ones. Motivation is key to success, but if you have a sound mind filled with happy memories, this will help you achieve even more. Have a great holiday for the next few months. It's one of your last ones. And for those coming back for attachments, we will be really happy to help you along with your studies. For the rest of you, as you heard, we have a graduation in 2 years, and the graduations here are actually very special. And I expect that you will be greeted then, all of you, as not just as students then, but as friends and colleagues. So in this profession, your intellect will matter, your discipline will matter, but your humanity, as everybody else said, will matter just as much. So be curious in your science, but also steadfast in hope, and you'll never walk alone, as Liz said. Congratulations, and may the force be with you always. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I would now like to invite Professor Joseph, Associate Dean for Clinical Education and Clinical Professor of Internal Medicine and Rheumatology, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the organizers. He was the keynote speaker in the end. He thought he wasn't, but he was. I usually try and sort of lighten the tone by the end. I'm very happy to speak last. But it's not difficult to lighten the tone after Evis and Louis. I always have a go at them, and it's great when I speak after them. So, lovely to see you all, and welcome. I'm not sure about the organizers. At our age, standing like this, with you all looking at us from the side, we should be somewhere, hidden, and you can only see us from the front speaking and appearing intelligent. But we'll cope with it. To our students, it's very nice to see you all, and to see you all. Huh? They're usually in the library studying, and we don't see them sometimes. But it's exciting times. I think I'd like to start by thanking people. I think we should give a round of applause to your loved ones for supporting you, please. I think we need to give a round of applause to our administration staff that support you all this time. The ones you have a go, the lectures haven't been uploaded, where are the lectures? I don't know, I'm going to a lecture, I don't have it. Or, I'm not going to a lecture, I don't have it. Yes. And finally, to all of you, you've been through a lot. We know, we understand, we've been there, and it's a great day. I mean, I wouldn't make such a massive fuss of it. You're moving on with your education, and you know it's going to be lovely from now on, and you're heading for your dream. But give yourself a round of applause for getting here. And we do, I mean, I don't know which way to turn. You see, this is the thing, but I am talking to you. You're going to move on. You know how time flies because it's like it was yesterday when you were in your first lecture and when we first met, and it was like yesterday, and now here you are moving to only 2 years left. And if you think that you're going to be working for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you know, you'll be working most of your life, fortunately or unfortunately. Just 2 years to learn all the clinical stuff, it makes you realize how much you need to not dive into the books. You know, we always say this. From now on, everyone, you have to be on the wards, in the place where you're meant to be, when you're meant to be there, and you have to talk to people, okay? We've said it, you've heard it from the colleagues, you know it, but let me stress it again. You have to speak to people, to get to know them, to hear from them, to learn from them. It's not in the books, it's with the patients. The books are just stating things that, as Evie says, become out of date very quickly. You need to talk to patients, to examine patients, and to be in there all the time. And then go home in the afternoon, go home in the evening and consolidate it. But your strength is going to be speaking to as many people as you can, examining as many people as you can, and we can't stress this enough. Everybody's told you to look after yourselves, so please make sure you do. Do have fun in the process. There's not many people here that are now doctors that will not tell you that the best times were the medical school times. So you need to remember that. It's tough, it's hard, there's anxiety and there's exams, but it's still going to be your best times. So make sure you have fun. Look after yourself and your health and your loved ones. Don't make any discounts and don't cut any corners. Just go and look at whatever needs looking at. Please be sure that you contact us because we are watching over you wherever in the world you go for your next 2 years. We're always next to you. So have fun and we'll see you in 2 years again. And well done again.
Thank you so much, Professor Joseph. Now that we've heard from all our mentors, we'll move on to our student representatives. I'd like to call on from the GEMD program, Tali Issa and Yahya Wehbe to the stage.
Hi everyone. Can you all hear me? You guys too? Yeah? Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Talia Isa and standing next to me is Yahya Wehbe. We are the representatives of the GMD. Today is officially about the white coat, but for our class it was never just about that. It was definitely about becoming doctors, yes, but it was also about becoming a very strange, chaotic, yet somehow functional big family. These past few years were about fighting over the shortest lobs at 9 a.m. They were about coffee, getting us both to celebrate, because apparently surviving medicine deserves a sea view. They were about weddings, engagements, and gender reveal parties. Congratulations to Mitch, Yusuf, Afik, and Joseph, because somehow, between lectures, placements, and exams, they still managed to build entire lives. These years were also about all the gossip sessions. They were about Omar protecting his favorite spot like it was legally his, and Bar sitting there anyway. They were about T, our social butterfly and amazing cook. They were about Sam, who captured every cute moment with his camera. They were about Christos, turning every whiteboard into an artistic piece before turning ethics class into a live debate show with Dimitris. And to the only 5 girls in class, we may have been few in number, but we still managed to keep all these guys in line. And we made every moment more fun and lively. Whether it was Yakovja's lava cakes, Adi always being in the mood to dance, Victoria always offering rides when needed, and Antigone giving gym advice. They were also about Zaid, who couldn't be here today, but who always managed to make us laugh. And they were about Rafi, who went from being a lawyer to becoming a full-time medical student. Hopefully, we won't need his legal services in the future. And they were about Yahya, who needs no introduction, as you all already know him. He's always there for everyone around him, and if you need his help, you'll probably find him sitting on the benches outside the library rather than in it. He also got us beautiful pins that I hope we will all wear. So yes, today we wear the white coat, but we are also receiving something bigger, a reminder of everything that brought us here.
Hello, everyone. On that note, Tali was kind enough to mention everyone in class, so I feel like I should return the favor. So what Tali forgot to tell you is that within the first month of being in this program, she became our unofficial tour guide. So while the rest of us were spiraling about exams, everyone who were in the dorms, we were probably staring at the bird wallpaper at you. Tali was actually going out, finding some recommendations, telling you to live in your own bubble, enjoy your time. And year after year, with the advice we heard from the faculty, this is actually how we should have lived these past 3 years. Now today I want to say something a bit different. I'm not going to romanticize this journey too much. Medicine is hard, as we all know. And not just in the way, in the cinematic Grey's Anatomy way, where we're at the library, books piled up, but also in the way where the finish line always seems to be moving further, where the sacrifices pile up quietly before you even realize you've been making them. And some of the sacrifices were deeply personal. Some of us here lost someone, a parent, a mother, a father, a grandparent, even a sister. And yet these people still showed up. These people still pushed through. And they still managed to put a smile on their faces while doing that. So to all of you guys, I just wanted to tell you that this strength hasn't gone unnoticed. And today is as much for the people we've lost as it is for us here today. For many of us, our families are thousands of kilometers away, yet we still manage to build a family. The kind of family you call at 2 a.m. telling them you want to quit medicine to become a dancer, and instead of talking some sense into you, they give you better ideas. The kind of family who comes back with chocolates and sweets every time they travel to share the experience. The kind of people you never expected to meet in a country you never expected to live in. That's what got us through this, each other. And on the subject of each other, I can't forget the MD cohort. You guys are so many people, so unfortunately I can't name every single one of you. But I just wanted to let you know that some of the relationships we've built here today are definitely going to last a lifetime. And nobody deserves to enjoy this day as much as the people who made it possible, our parents. I know what you're probably thinking. You're seeing us all dressed up, getting our white coats, already convinced we're becoming doctors. I promise you, you can still send us your friends' lab tests, but we're not there yet. Although I think my mom told everyone back home I'm a doctor already. Now, with that, we never say this enough, and you guys sacrificed so many stuff that we don't even know of. You built your life around a dream that wasn't even yours, but rather ours. So I wanted to take the chance to say it out loud here today and thank you for being there with us, supporting us, and getting us this far. The path to becoming a doctor is long, and for the most of it, there's no reward, just the promise of one. So yes, like Tali said, today we receive a white coat, but we receive something bigger than that. We receive a reminder that even on the very long roads, there are moments worth pausing for. That the people beside you, all these people over here, matter way more than your destination. And that sometimes in the middle of the very long, chaotic, and messy road of medicine, it's okay to stop, look at the people beside you, and think for a moment, we actually did this, guys. We made it this far, and we deserve to be here. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yahya and Tali. I would now like to call on our MD Year 4 student representatives, Khalid and myself. Good evening, everybody. It's me again. I know you're probably very tired of my voice, so I'll make this very quick. Before I begin, I want to say a big thank you to Khalid for all his support and hard work as a student representative. Honestly, we've been through everything together. Meetings, deadlines, exam stress, last-minute problems, and somehow always finding ourselves in situations we definitely did not plan for. But genuinely, I could have not asked for a better person to represent this cohort beside me. Today is about the journey, the people who helped us get here, and the memories we've shared along the way. But I think it is also important to acknowledge one real thing today. None of us truly knew what we were signing up for. A few years ago, many of us walked into the University of Nicosia Medical School convinced we were fully prepared for medicine. We absolutely were not. Some of us could not find lecture halls, others had no idea what an OSCE was, and some of us genuinely thought that staying one lecture ahead meant we had our lives completely under control. Fast forward a few years, and somehow here we are standing, receiving our white coats and preparing to step into hospitals. I think that's what makes today so special. It's not the white coat itself, but everything that has happened before it. The sleepless nights, the exam stress, the serious caffeine addictions, and the emotional damage caused by past med questions. Medical school has a very unique ability to make intelligent people sit in a library at 1 a.m. collectively questioning every life decision we've ever made. And somehow we all accepted that as normal. But despite all the stress, one of the most beautiful parts of this journey has been the people we shared it with. Over the year, the cohort has become more than just our classmates. We became each other's support systems. We celebrated each other's successes. We helped each other through failures. We shared notes, advice, emotional breakdowns, and occasionally extremely unreliable study tips 5 minutes before an exam. And honestly, nobody understands medicine and medical school quite like other medical students. To our families and our loved ones, thank you for supporting us, encouraging us, believing in us, and pretending to understand our medical rants for the last few years. To my classmates, one day we will probably forget most of what's on the lecture slides. Honestly, that process has already started. But we'll never forget these memories, the chaos, the friendships, the laughter, and the feeling of all of us standing here together tonight. Khalid has very beautifully summed up so much of what I wanted to say to you all tonight. So the final thing I can say is congratulations. I'm so incredibly proud of each and every single one of you. I'm so privileged to have walked alongside all of you as part of your journey. As you move forward into this next chapter, I wish you nothing but the very best. Please know, Khalid and I will always be in your corner, cheering you on wherever this journey takes you. Congratulations, we made it.
Can you hear me? Awesome. Good evening, everyone. I'll keep this short because honestly, medical school has already told us to survive long lectures, but not necessarily enjoy them. Today is one of those days that looks simple from the outside. We put on the white coat, we take pictures, we smile with our family, and we pretend that this is not slightly overwhelming. But deep down, I think all of us know that this is just bigger than a ceremony. The coat means that little by little, people will begin to trust us with their pain, their fears, and sometimes the hardest moments of their lives. And this is not something small. It's a privilege, but at the same time, it's a big responsibility. For us, the journey has not been perfect. It has been late nights, stressful exams, humbling exams, lectures we've barely survived, and moments where we looked at ourselves and thought, am I actually made for this? And then somehow we woke up the next day and kept going. But today is not only about us. Because before we ever wore this white coat, someone else carried the dream with us. To our parents and families, today we know this moment belongs to you too. You saw the parts of this journey that no one else saw. You saw the stress before the exams, the tired faces, the mood swings, the silence, the panics, the I'm fine when I'm clearly not fine. You were through the phone calls, the prayers, the encouragement, and sometimes just the quiet support that said, I'm here, keep going. And I think one of the hardest things about growing up is realizing how much our beloved ones have gave without making it look like a sacrifice. The money, the time, the worry, the patience, and the emotional energy. The way you carried our dreams even though we were too tired to carry them ourselves. So to our parents, this white coat is not only yours, ours, but a part of it is yours. Maybe the biggest part. To my classmates, we're still at the beginning. We have a lot of learning to do, a lot of mistakes to make, and a lot of growing up to do. We're not doctors yet. Not fully, but today is a reminder that we're on our way. And as we wear this white coat, I hope we remember that medicine is just not about being smart. It's about being human when it matters most. It's about listening properly, caring even when we're tired, and staying humble even when we gain confidence by answering something correctly. And never forgetting that behind every diagnosis, there's a patient, there's a person that are hoping to see them as a person, not just an illness. So congratulations to all of us and to our families, our parents and everyone who got us here. This is your day too.
Thank you so much, Khalid. Now that all the speeches are complete, we can move on to the moment you've all been waiting for and the reason we're all here today, the donning of the white coats. We'll begin with the GMD students and then followed by the MD students. So for now, I'd like to call on Dr. Danny Alon Ellenbogen, Clinical Associate Professor of Internal Medicine and Infectious Diseases, Associate Director of the MD program, to start us off. I kindly ask the first row to please stand. Thank you so much, Dr. George. I now call Dr. Evis Baghdadis, Clinical Associate Professor of Respiratory Medicine and MD Year 4E. Right there. God dear. pathology. Coca Cristina. Constantino Alexandros. water. Saltaco Eli.
Professor in Hematology. Salim Fatma Rashid Hasib. Samaneka Chido Berlin. Sanduka Ahmad Bajat Arif. Schmidt Helsman Lakia Rakbier Felicitas. Schmidt Helsman Pasha Gadil Sian Marke Helmut.